Yet he still goes to the final best of 3. But let me tell you something: if you're Billowy, you're finally in Code S. You want this win, you want this over with, and then you want to go celebrate and start training.
Yeah,
because you want to be that Royal Roader.
He could do it, man. This is wild how strong he is. This decision making. Can't wait to see this next game.
All right, guys. Billowy versus Sue. If Billowy can win this game or the next, he survives to the round of 16. In the bottom left, in the blue, our Protoss player,
Billowy.
In the upper right, in the red,
Sue.
Okay, so Sue is going for a rather quick spawning pool here. And this is pretty good because walling in the natural on this map, it's like so big, it's really hard to actually wall the whole thing in. Now, this probe sees that, he knows that it's a very fast pool. It's just going to be kind of hard to defend down there because Sue is going to make nothing but Zerglings, stream them across the map, try to trick him there with that drone a little bit, but it's just the amount of buildings you need to make the full wall, and then you have 8 Zerglings, then 10 Zerglings, and 12 Zerglings attacking your buildings while you're trying to chrono boost out a Zealot. It's tough.
Let's see how he handles it. Sue, definitely a player who likes to seize the game by the throat early on and start trying to bleed his opponent out. Whoa.
Did not expect what I'm seeing here with the Nexus right away. But,
something.
Well, I guess he's saying, you know what, this is going to be a little bit tough. I need to make the Nexus so that after I take a little bit of damage here, I can still win the game.
Well, it looks like he's going to try to just barely eke out this wall. I think he needs one more pylon here.
I think he needs... I believe there's 2 holes in this wall right now.
Oh, my God, there's 3.
So, yeah, he was trying to kind of zone both of them, but the Zergling, the Probe plus the Zealot are doing a very good job. That's some great micro right there.
That is so good. Oh!
Very well done. That was superb
Oh, my
micro.
God. If he even gets this last, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that Billowy is in such good shape.
Yeah.
If this was a race, Billowy is lapping him right now.
You're very right about that. Like,
that's crazy.
I take back being like, whoa, that Nexus, I feel like this could be bad. But that was like, he set up the wall, the SimCity, extremely well. That was like...
Show me the way, Billowy.
Yeah, he made a bunch of holes that he could walk into. He had the probe to help. He brought down just enough to really punish Sue here. And Sue actually didn't overmake Zerglings. A lot of times you will see him just kind of pound on the wall and try to get the Zealot to come out so you can surround. But this was like
he actually
very well
maneuvered that
executed.
Zealot really nicely here.
Yeah.
And look, this Ling actually has to leave. He's like, oh, I really need every Ling I can get. Uh-oh.
5 Zerglings killed, nothing
Why
lost
is
for
this looking
Billowy.
like a Brood War game right now?
Yeah.
The Zealots are not going to go and start putting pressure on.
Well, with no gas right now from Sue, slow Zerglings are not going to fare very well against a Mothership Core and 2 Zealots, that's for sure.
You know, normally you see this in Brood War because they don't start out with that many. They don't start out with that many drones.
Yeah.
But you don't normally see it in StarCraft 2 because you start with so many workers. But in this case, he's low, so you can do that Zealot pressure.
This is a brilliant move.
Yeah,
what we're seeing
this
here.
is so sick.
Yeah, the Forge at home. Forge is built super quick. You just cannon rush with this. The Zealots and Mothership Core with an overcharge will force cannons in here. This has to be canceled. He cannot keep this hatchery.
He knows. He wants to try to get this probe. He needs to get this cannon. He needs to get this
All
cannon
that
up.
matters in this whole world is that probe getting over here.
Okay, he might even want to make...
Yeah, I guess he's just not even going to make the cannons. That actually makes sense as well. I was like, well, this will buy enough time to warp in 2 cannons, but...
He's still hitting this.
Yeah.
He needs to overcharge that pylon one more time.
Oh! He has to kill it.
He gets it.
Yeah. That was so well done. Like, I've never even seen that.
Almost got that queen, too. I have like 1 HP there or something.
I've never seen that, but that was beautiful. What a counter that play was. Holy crap.
Billowy
is so good right now. We have to like reconsider the ranking of Protoss players because everyone only talks really right now about
SOS Zest,
Stats, Zest. Yeah, like I mean, SOS Hero Classic are all kind of up there, but like no one is super performing right now.
Well, hold up.
The games here from Billowy are madness. This is so good. And look at this, a cannon from behind, a Void Ray on the way. You have a sentry behind the wall. He is 100% safe against everything in the universe.
He's now getting a Void Ray here, too.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Just throw anything at me, I don't care.
Yeah, that'll block anything with roaches, anything with Ravagers. anything with drops, like the Void Ray cleans it all up. So like he is completely safe and can do whatever the hell he wants from here.
And it's very possible that he will just do some kind of pressure from here. Just get all the tools he needs. Sue had a very late gas, guys. Like, it's kind of crazy how behind that was. Because this Ling Rush did not do what it was supposed to.
Guys, this is like what we are watching here tonight is the birth of a new top-class player.
A new top-class player, not just that, but I'd say a new era of Protoss.
Yeah, like
Look at the way he's playing. He's playing this so perfectly.
Like all of his decision-making, he's extremely patient. He knows exactly what he can get done with these moves, and like I'm not seeing holes.
Yeah.
It's so crazy what we're watching here, and man,
he sees what's coming at him, holds it up perfectly, immediately knows. That's a split-second decision.
I don't know about you, Tasis, but I, for one, welcome our new Protoss Overlord.
Yes.
I've been waiting my whole life for Billowy.
I never would have thought Billy would be this on top. I was so used to him kind of being like that extra in Star
He was like
Trek.
a C-class.
Yeah, where he's like
player.
he's going to be the guy that dies in the Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
So that there's some suspense, but he's not a main character.
He's like one of
So
the
it's
guys.
like, oh no, people can die in this, but it's not the people we care about.
He was always a guy that would like. He was the warm-up for a good player in Code A, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the guy that CJ Hero will be killing to get into Code S. Let's watch this and see what kind of shape Hero's in,
And let's all be reminded that Hero's still really, really good.
Yeah.
Billy
Yeah.
wasn't a bad player, but Hero's clearly better, and
Yeah.
that's why he's here.
But things have changed. Even going to kill off the scout, can't even get in. Oh, my God.
Look at that. Billy, you're so good. Well, he's almost to the point where he can begin to push out here. He's got enough sentries he can actually try to bait these Lings into attacking. Sue doesn't bite. Sue then retreats, heads northbound, loops around towards the middle of the map. There are mass Hydras coming, but the War Prism here for Billowy is pretty alarming.
Yeah, he's getting ready to attack here with this Blink, right? He's already got +1 attack. He's getting +1 armor. So Billowy is kind of going to do like a 3-base Blink all-in, and this is something he even did use against Biel. He actually ended up losing that game, but he has such a nice advantage from getting the 3rd hatchery this game that, like, this is definitely something that can end up winning. The thing is, Sue has already got some pretty good creeps right. He's trying to take his 4th. I can't imagine the 4th living through this.
Yeah, he's
but
trying
maybe that buys him enough time to get enough Lings and Hydras that he can hold on.
Yeah, he's trying. He's got the creep almost completely connected, coming around from the bottom and the top. That's going to be really important for reinforcements when Billowy's push does begin. Now, Sue is not out of this yet, guys, but Billowy, the pressure is really mounting on Sue, coming from Billowy. And this attack is about to begin. He's going to have very good force fields here, and kind of an odd Blink there.
Ooh.
He's leaving a lot of these sentries exposed.
Yeah, well, he'll lose some of these Lings, but Sue is just rallying non-stop units. He is trying to get speed for his Banelings, and, like, if he had that a little bit earlier, that'd be really helpful, but this is mostly just going to come down to Ling Hydra trying to hold this and force fields not being enough. And look at this. Billowy is actually kind of realizing, like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work, and he's backing up into Disruptor Tech.
Well, that's a very good transition here. He's definitely forced Sue into high damage but very brittle army. And so Disruptors, anytime they connect with anything, that army on the ground dies for Zerg.
I wonder if there's any chance he could go Colossus here. Like, I think
Maybe.
it's going to be Disruptor.
If he has enough Colossus, that would be pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you get 4 Colossus against Ling Hydra and the game is over.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's like a real big investment. It takes a while to get. We'll see. It's about to finish, so I think it's probably just Disruptor, though.
He picks up.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, does lose the War Prism. Well, that's pretty big. He is going to get Colossus.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Second
Billowy.
Robo, by the way, almost done. Thermal Lance starting here. Okay, so he's going to try to outmuscle Zerg. He wants to face this army head-to-head. Now, keep in mind, this is a pretty nimble army. Zerg can rely on counterattacks while Billowy's trying to muster forces that are going to be strong enough to combat Zerg head-to-head. Sue definitely going to be able to lean on harass and counterattacks as a means to get this game stretched out further.
All that matters right now is that he lives until this Thermal Lance. Like, the thing is, this is a lot of Speed Banes. A lot of Speed Banes. That +1 melee is about to finish as well.
Well, he's got force fields here.
He does.
If he can actually lock this out. I don't know if his sentries are spread out properly, though. It seems like somewhere Sue can hit and just do the damage for free.
Okay, 2 Colossus about to pop out here. But this is like, the fact that he's going Colossus, like, I am the biggest Billowy fan on Earth, right? We need to start a new meme, okay? Billowy is best. I think that's a good one.
Billowy is best.
$ Billowy $. Okay, like he's just. This play is just too brilliant. Now, Sue is trying to
Spire?
tech up beyond here. Yeah, he's getting the Spire. He's trying to go into Hive Tech as well. But like, once 4 Colossus and Thermal Lance are out with +2 attack, this army will destroy what Sue has. So Sue might want to do something like base tradey here. That's the only thing I can really think of.
Well, I think he's going to have to do that. I don't think he can fight this head-to-head, especially with just a few good force fields laid out here.
Yeah.
He is in a position where he could go for some nice surrounds. He could try to counterattack, but I think then Billowy just comes in there and crushes him.
Yeah, like
Billowy's got the sustain out there. Sue's got the ability to trade favorably in different parts of the map. So you see, he sends us out here, but just blinks away, and he's just chewing off a few of the stray banelings, making Zerg waste his gas a little bit more. Now, the Warp Prism coming here is generally an indicator that we are going to see the push, but also if you look at the minerals and gas here for Zerg, he could definitely have a lot of Corruptors out.
Yeah, he could go for Claw. The thing is, there's so many Stalkers here. And look at this. The perfect force fields, the +2 Thermal Lance. Like, oh my god. Sue's army does nothing against us. It is paper against what Billowy has right now.
Yeah.
So we have to see Sue like totally outmaneuver him somehow. He does have a 5th base up. And so his production is pretty strong. His economy is fantastic. But this incoming army is the origin of the Death Ball. That's what we're watching here.
He's coming up now. He's shaving off creep. He may rotate around back through the center here. Keep in mind, when Protoss expands to the middle like that, oh, this is a bad engage. Nothing's even going to do damage there. So many Banelings.
Oh, my God, indeed. All right.
Now, some of these force fields are coming out when the real attack's about to happen a little bit later. Let's see if he has the tools necessary to hold this off when the real punches start being thrown here from Sue.
Yet he has so many force fields left over. I feel like he should be able to stall out the Banelings enough to let the Colossus just kill everything. But we'll see. Sue's starting to open everything up. He needs a huge concave coming in. Here he goes. The Banelings trying to roll in some hit in the back, but so many force fields.
Crazy. He's coming in now. He's also going to be able to lock out the Banelings over here at the top. He's going to be able to take out this base in a matter of seconds. And from here, does he retreat or does he push in?
He needs to keep pushing. Colossus do not get better in the later game. We have Ultra's Cavern coming up, and we have Broodlord Tech coming up. Ultras are a fantastic counter to this army. Yeah, Sentries do nothing, Stalkers don't do well, and they destroy Colossus.
He's got an Immortal here now with his army. He's no longer making the Colossi. He's trying to get something to already preempt that. Here come the Banelings connecting pretty damn well.
Oh my god, a huge Baneling flank in the back as well. Almost every Colossus falls. Still has a lot of Blink Stalkers, but if you get enough Lings, you should be able to clean this up.
Okay, and now this army is trapped up here. There's really no way for the Stalkers to easily retreat. He's going to try to come down here and face off against these Hydras, but the Hydra's quite strong, especially backed up with these Lings and Queens. Really good play here by Sue.
Yeah, it really is. What a fantastic hold. That flank was awesome. Oh my god. And because like Billowy played so smart here, but you know what? He has 4 bases behind. Maybe he can remake some sort of army to hold on, but it's not looking too promising with Broodlords morphing in.
That's funny, because the Broodlords are actually a great play here. This has really been a powerful ground army here for Billowy, but if he pushes and he has Banelings underneath these Broodlords, well, you can't blink under that, my friend. Yep, that's it. GG.
Man.
Now we go to game 3. It's tied up 1-1, Sue versus Billowy.
That was a beautiful game.
That was cool.
I felt like Billowy just played that so well. You know, going into the Colossus play made so much sense based on the army, but
if you notice, he had a force field at the back.
Yeah.
And then it looks like his screen didn't move to the right. So even though he got a force field to lock out a lot of those Banelings, most of the Banelings didn't connect with those Stalkers. Look, if you don't get the force fields up, it doesn't matter what coulda, shoulda, woulda. You lost your army and you lost the fight. The Colossi weren't protected and the game was over. So that was a cool direction that Billowy took. I think in theory it would have worked, but in application it did not.
Yeah, it's very tough to nail every single force field right there. Make sure that your Colossus are not walking over anything, blinking your Stalkers correctly, and like that was a clutch victory by Sue. Totally impressed.
All right, Billowy versus Sue, game number 3. The map is going to be Echo. Billowy has been on fire. He's been doing really well, but he's not out of this group yet. He could still lose to Sue and then lose in our final match.
Absolutely.
And that's the end of his story.
Yeah.
A flash in the pan play by Billowy that will be forgotten in a couple weeks until he comes back and maybe dominates again. I hate to say it.
No, you're very
but
right. You're very right.
It's not about a couple good games. It's about advancing.
Well, hopefully for Billowy, he'll be able to do it here. You never know what can happen to a new player's mentality. If they do end up losing in a situation like this, he had to feel like he was going to win that game until all those Banelings connected. And maybe that throws him off a little bit. Maybe he's not as rock solid. Maybe Sue gets some lings in, does some extra damage. Hard to say. Echo is our next map.
And
Very
it's,
small ramp, so he definitely can do some greedy plays if he's looking for it.
Let's see if Sue goes for quick aggressive pull here, trying to lean on his opponent, and if he does, how Billowy handles it. Does Billowy do any kind of rush? Let's not forget how he won in game 1 with the Zealot and Adept pressure while still deflecting the drop play from Sue.
Yeah. All right, Tasteless.
Tosis, tonsils,
One of these
tassels
guys
and
is gonna go for-
tonsils. That's our name. This is the final match between these two for now. Who will move on to the round of 16? Billowy versus Sue. Guys, thank you for joining us. This is the GSL Codex. In the bottom right, in the blue.
Billowy.
In the upper left, in the red, he is.
Sue.
Can I just point to the Narutos?
Yeah.
I think that all 4 players in our group here today have lost weight.
Okay. Well, I think everyone's practicing so hard right now
Yeah.
that they are like not even eating meals. And this is
You
something
ever
that
had those
actually
nerd
happens.
days where you're like playing games all day
Yeah.
and it becomes 7 p.m. You're like, oh my god, I didn't eat all day.
Absolutely. When I was practicing for WCG all day, every day back in the early 2000s, like
In the Cretaceous period of
my-
esports.
my brother would come up and he'd be like, "Your hands are shaking." I'm like, "Oh God, I didn't eat for the last
Yeah.
12 hours."
Yeah.
Like, it happens.
Then he's like, have you even gone to the bathroom and suddenly your senses go back to your bladder? You're like, ow, 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 ow.
Just sees me pee my pants right there. But by the way, I was just thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, if Tasteless and I were both teeth, what type of teeth would we be?
Well,
And I came up for you.
I would be veneers and you'd be dirty dog teeth that hadn't been cleaned in the vet.
No. I'm talking about a specific tooth.
Yeah.
Right? And I was thinking about it, right? And I think I came up with a narwhal tusk for you. I think that if you were a specific tooth in the world, you would be a narwhal tusk.
Okay.
And I think that I would just be a wisdom tooth for
I think
sure.
A wisdom tooth for sure. I was going to say baby teeth. Maybe Rapid would be baby teeth.
Yeah, you'd be baby tooth. You'd be the baby tooth that didn't come out because you don't have a big tooth under it. Anyways, I just wanted you to know that I think
I
if, you,
appreciate that.
if you were a tooth, you would be a narwhal tusk to me.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'd be a mighty narwhal tusk.
You'd be okay. You probably an ancient Norwegian king would have had you killed and taken it as a walking stick, but you know, still, it was glorious when you actually had it.
Yeah.
You can see.
You're so funny, Artosis. So we have the Stargate coming up here.
Okay. This is something that Billowy does like to do. He likes to get a couple oracles and go into Phoenix just to clear things up, and has good plays with that. But this is one of the best maps if you want to go air toss. This is a great map for it because of the little ramps. Like you can just defend here a bit easier than on other maps. So that is something we could see.
This is a map that has funny properties. It rewards turtling in a very strange way.
Yeah.
There's actually not as much room to move around on the ground as you might think.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I would say if you wanted to go air toss, you could. There's also a lot of ways you could punish and push from here. And, of course, if you do take, let's say you take your fourth base or your third base in the top center or bottom center, it's an odd position where you can push from and kind of hold everything too, but you're also kind of in the middle of the map.
Yeah. Well, looking at what Billowy is going for here with the additional 2 gates, this is a style that he has used a bit. And, like, he'll just take a very safe third base because he's got 3 gates and oracles out.
Yeah.
and probably just go into macro play from there. Like, he likes very quick Templar Archives, and we'll see if he goes for that. But right now, Su is getting that Evolution Chamber. Will he be going for drops of that or just getting a quick upgrade? Hard to say.
Well, the Spores are up here. Probably feel pretty safe against any Oracles. Overlord does come back in. Get confirmation on what Protoss is up to. Third base thing goes down. Zerg not really able to do anything to poke into his opponent. So Zerg utilizes this moment to try to drone up and tech up as much as possible.
Coming over, a very nice move to save that drone, but looks like he will just power down the building.
Was it worth it?
This is
not really.
There was a new rage on the Korean ladder maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 3 weeks ago. I don't know. I lose track of time. But mass Oracles versus Zerg. It was just hilarious. Everyone was losing to it. It was like completely free ladder points. You just keep making Oracles.
Yeah.
And then eventually you have like 7, 8 Oracles. You fly and you kill 3 Spores, 3 Queens, all the drones in the hatchery. And it's like, ha! And then they make like a bunch of Hydras and you fly over the Hydras with the Oracles and kill them all. Yeah. It's just like, the damage output is so fast.
There is something hilarious about Oracles where if you just get enough of them, problem is if you screw up and lose them, then I guess you're done.
If you make a mistake at all, you lose.
But yeah, if they're not ready for that, you can get blindsided.
Yeah. Of course, that's not what he's going for here. Just backing up into a more normal standard play. Getting that singular Phoenix to clean up Overlords and starting to macro up a bit. Does have the Templar Archives. I mean, the Twilight, but I think Templar Archives will be coming up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, just getting that +1 and the Robo, everything else, just staying back, staying safe. And this is cool. He can interrupt this. See, there you go. Enough damage coming out at once. It's pretty hard to deal with. But yeah, he can run around here and just try to shave off drones, try to be a nuisance. Later on, he'll be using that to tag the army, try to track the movements here of the Zerg.
Yeah, and he also uses a lot of stasis wards with these 2 Oracles that I've seen. It's really quite cool moves that can screw up some powerful attacks. Now, Templar Archives is coming up rather quickly here, probably just for Archons, because everyone is so into Banelings right now. And this is actually the thing that I was most impressed with Billowy's Protoss vs. Zerg games, is that he is extremely patient. Like, if you're sitting there making an army-crushing army, which would be a Baneling-based army like Ravager, Baneling, something like that, or even Bane Hydra, like, he will make so many Archons. It's kind of crazy. Looks like he is going for Storm this time because there is a Hydralisk Den. Archon's not so good against Hydras.
No, not so much. Those shields not too handy against a bunch of Hydras. So Psy Storm's coming here. Yeah, I mean, he's really developing all the tech he needs to feel safe later on. He's not got any polarizing tech coming up here where he's going to have a dramatic amount of adepts come out and try to do this or that. He just wants to finish getting all the building blocks set up so that he's going to be in a very healthy position in late game.
Yeah, and you know what's so awesome about this? Like, this always stuck with me. Something Nesty said, and Nesty was a master of back when he was the best player in the world, is that StarCraft 2 is so much about knowing all the different branches that you have to go down strategically.
That's very true.
And like what I see from Billowy is like he gets the Oracles, he continually scouts, he doesn't overcommit. And for instance, if he hadn't made a Hydralisk Den, if he had gone Roach Warren plus the Banelings, then you make mass Archons. But here, you go into Psystorm, because it's like Hydras get shredded by Psystorm. He's just filling out everything perfectly, and there hasn't been a weak moment for Billy. There hasn't been a moment where Su can actually get anything done.
Yeah, that's true. Su, though, I think he's doing a good job staying back and getting his own tech here. Su is that kind of Zerg that can play whatever kind of Zerg game he needs to play that time around, which is, of course, the worst kind of Zerg to play against. Somebody who really does have all the different skill sets. It's like he knows all the different fighting styles. And he knows, like, jiu-jitsu and drunken boxing, but if he has to just break boards in half with his hand, he can do that, too. So even if you try to attack him with nothing but stationary boards, he's just, bust it down.
Stationary boards. That's what I normally attack people with.
That's right.
By the way, it's something I saw is that he had Banelings and Overlord. I do wonder, because he's playing against High Templars, okay, he is just going to do Baneling drop.
This is set up pretty well that it might not work.
I wouldn't mind, though, to see, like, Baneling carpet bombing against this type of army because he doesn't have that much anti-air.
Oh, you mean just drop right on top of the army?
Yeah, because you just don't have that many Archons to pick them out. But I don't know. Anyways, just a little side thought.
Okay, Lings are coming up now, wiping out the rest of these Zealots. Cancels that.
Yeah, victory for Su right there.
Yep.
He does have his 4th base up. Very good creep spread, too.
Right now, it is up to Billowy to try to get that 4th base up and running. The army that he has with Archons and Immortals and some Zealots and Templars, this is about as slow as and clumsy of an army as you can have. It's scary when you have to fight it, but you can definitely outmaneuver an army like this.
Yeah, he can run around it quite a bit, which is probably what he's going to want to do.
You want to drop
for
in
now.
a main or something? Good luck with those guys ever getting over there in time.
Yeah.
Not that drops in the main are that viable, since the main is sort of tucked away between the other 2 bases. But point in case is that this is just not a quick army.
And if you engage it with an army like what we see right here, like all that stuff is a little bit weak to Psystorm.
Yeah.
And the Archons in the front just make it really hard for the Banelings to actually get to anything. So that's why Billowy is sitting back and kind of expanding. Sue has to tech up to be able to kill him unless Billowy makes a mistake.
Wow, really good Psystorms.
Really forcing everything back. The Ling's still pushing forward here. Look at this. So many
Great.
stasis wards. Definitely something that Billowy's been using a ton. And down comes his main army here, throwing down quite a few Psystorms.
I mean, it's funny because, nicely done. We didn't catch that, but it looks like it was about a dozen probes killed off just there. Now, the stasis units over here are actually acting kind of like a wall here, helping the Protoss out in some funny way. Supply is 134 to 163, Zerg in the lead. Although I think the army, as far as damage output, if done correctly, is pretty scary for the Zerg.
Yeah, you know, this is, like, Sue's maneuvering here is really fantastic. If he had made a single mistake, like, he would have gotten completely destroyed by the Psystorms.
Right.
But he's done a pretty good job and taken well, I guess no, he just has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he has taken a 5th base during all this.
Okay.
And I like this, too. Look, he's taking right into Broodlords, which this army does not do well against. Nothing here really hits Broodlords.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he might have ended up forcing Billowy down this tech pattern, or at least encouraged Billy, because it's kind of okay against at least what he has on the ground, that the final tech unit is just going to be too strong. More Banelings coming down there, nothing to connect with over there. He's going to get the Infestation Pit, which is neat, I guess. Maybe he's not going to get that.
Well, he's forcing a lot of the units back.
Yeah.
And I guess that's like really a big part of this as well, so that he can actually finally move out on the map. And it also gives him a little bit of scouting intel as well. He sees the hive. He has to assume that Broodlords are going to be on the way, so maybe he'll be adding Stargates. Maybe he'll just start getting extremely aggressive, but he's got to do something. If he just sits back with this type of army any longer, he's going to be dead when those Broodlords come out.
Okay, he sees the Corruptors now. Couldn't be more clear what direction this game is going in. The Fleet Beacon's coming up here now, too.
Yeah, double Stargate. I think it's just double Stargate, but Tempest definitely needed here to deal with these Broodlords.
Still, though, Zerg's going to have a lot of push potential. It's going to be very tough to threaten this as Protoss until those Broodlords are taken out. There's 7 of them on the way now. 2 Tempests coming up here. I don't know if he's getting them out in time, you know?
Yeah. It is a little bit slow. Those Broodlords are going to be on his doorstep, and if he loses that 4th base, it's like, yeah, you kind of have technically the right tech, but Sue's going to overwhelm you.
Yeah, and Sue has a lot of time to try to, hammer together another army to deal with the next wave.
And 2 Tempests don't just clean up the Broodlords instantly. It's not like you're one-shotting them, right? If you have any transfusions or you're pulling them back,
yeah, good point.
It's a little bit difficult. They're going to be getting damage in the whole time, too.
Lings come down now, starting to do damage at the center. What he wants to do is push this clunky army that we see just barely on the screen for Protoss away so he can finally push over here.
Okay, this is a very good move, though, by Billowy to try to hit that 5th base with those Zealots, but he's going to lose his own 4th and losing quite a few probes at these bases.
Billowy,
oh, my God.
Billowy might get dismantled here.
Yeah.
This is kind of crazy.
Sue is playing really well right now, just kind of tearing him apart, hitting the right types of tech and everything.
Still, though, the Lings are now running away. Sue did take a bit of a beating back there, but I think Billowy is starting to get boxed in. He may have, tech-wise, painted himself into a corner of the map he can't get out of now.
Yeah, and again, like the army he's making theoretically beats what Sue has, but the number of bases Sue has beats, like he can just overwhelm at this point.
If this game was about just the army versus the army, it wouldn't be StarCraft because there's so much more to it, right?
Yeah.
The maneuverability right now for Zerg, the ability to replenish, this is scary. Look at this. Now he's going to go into this corner. That's going to make it a lot easier to defend with Psystorms.
Yeah, and those Psystorms are doing a fantastic job. The Archons in the front tanking so much damage, while the Tempests do start to whittle down this Broodlord count.
Now there's still some Immortals in the back here, but really nothing else.
And, I mean, these Banelings as well, connecting with those Zealots. The ground army is almost cleaned up here for Billowy. Just a few Tempests left in the air, which will not be enough.
Now, the supply for Protoss is at 58. So even though it seems like maybe he holds us off, eventually if these Tempests get in a good spot, no way. To recuperate, it's impossible.
Yeah.
You
Super well played.
That was basically checkmate there.
Yeah.
Let's pretend that Protoss does survive that and try to get a fourth up. I mean, Sue has the whole map.
Yeah, Sue really won that game when he took out the fourth base. Like, without that fourth base mining, Billowy could not keep a big enough ground army to support Tempest.
That's right.
And Sue was able to overwhelm. But you know what? It was a very good play by Billowy. He just kind of missed. Like, remember when he played against SOS, he realized, like, okay, this is when I have to attack because, you know, you're going into Disruptor Tech, right? Like, here, he kind of missed that window. Like, he had to push it a little bit harder before the Broodlords, maybe get a base, you know, have some sort of semblance of map control so that the Broodlords couldn't just come and punish him for late Tempest.
We are going to get an interview now with Sue and see what his thoughts are, because he is our first winner tonight. He has escaped from Group C and moves on to the round of 16. And we're going to get that up for you guys momentarily.
진출자가 나왔죠. 어윤수 선수 바로 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
First Zerg to advance to the round of 16. Sue, congratulations. Says thank
자,
you.
1위 진출입니다. 김두경 선수를 상대로 굉장히 짜릿한 경기를 하셨어요. 소감 들어볼게요.
첫판 지고 나서
How do you feel?
두 번째
Well,
판도 너무
after losing the first
이제
game,
최종전 가겠구나 했는데
I was in a pretty big deficit, and I was also not in great shape in the second game. So I knew I had to go on to the final match.
네,
But
확실히 2세트에서
after I turned the table around in the second game, I felt a little bit less nervous. Also, I think my opponent was nervous, so I was able to use that to my advantage.
네, 그때가 없었으면 아마 저는 지금 여기에 안 있고 부스에 있었겠죠.
네, 확실히 상대가 그 전에는 무결점의 모습이었거든요. 그래서 어렵게 풀어갈 줄 알았는데 2세트에서 확실히 어윤수 선수의 근성을 봤습니다. 그때 해설진 평이 9대1로
Tell us about the second set.
이걸 이겼다고 평을 했거든요. 본인이
The Korean casters were saying Billowy had that match, but you were able to engineer a comeback.
이었는데 제가 이제 너무 불리하니까 그냥 다 배제하고 엄청 쬐거든요.
네.
그것 때문에 좀 따라가긴 했는데 그래도 불리했는데 뭔가 저의
Since Billowy had the advantage,
코데스
I decided to
이번에는 꼭
play a very greedy
잘 하고
game.
말겠다 이런 의지가 잘
And I
느껴졌던
expanded.
경기였던 것 같아요. 그럼 그 전에 있었던
Just built up a huge army later on and won with that.
처음에는 저저전이었거든요.
네.
저저전에서 굉장히 수싸움에서 앞서
Tell us about the CBZ.
방송 때 안 보여주던 스타일이었나요?
He played a really good
일부러
match
개인
against him.
방송을 이제 이동영 선수가 제 걸 자주 본다고 하더라고요.
I haven't really used that strategy that
같이
much on my
산다고
personal
하더라고요,
stream.
선수랑. 그래서 그걸 이용해가지고
I know that Curious probably watches my stream to study to get ready to play against me. So I decided to do a new strat that I knew in the back of my head,
지난
and it worked
시즌에는
out.
많이 아쉬움이 있었을 것 같아요.
네, 이제 GSL에서도 성적도 잘 안 나오고 이제 팀에서도 이제 팀도 이제 없어지는
Last year I didn't really perform that well in the
되게
GSL.
고민을 많이 했는데
네.
제가 잘할 수 있는 거를 열심히
And also my
하는
team
게
was disbanded.
맞다고 생각해서 그거를
So,
열심히 하고 있으니까 결과가
I had my own worries,
나오는 것 같아요.
especially coming into this year.
최근
But I
저기서
decided to not really think of anything else, just practice hard,
오늘
and it
그에
paid off.
걸맞는 1위 진출입니다. 그런데 확실히 요즘 분위기가 많이 바뀐 것 같아요. 이변도 많이 나오고 있고 신인 선수들이 대거 이렇게 활약을 하고 있는데 수장님이 느끼는 이런 변화 체감하고 있는 게 있는지.
A lot of upsets and new players playing really well this season.
A조에서도 그러고
네.
이제 장욱 선수도 되게 인상 깊게 봤는데
네.
이제 기존에 잘하던 선수들은
Group A, a lot of new players advanced to the round of
많이
16.
해 먹었으니까 이제 좀 어린 분들이 좀
네.
이제 치고 나오는 게 당연하다고
I think that's something that's really good for StarCraft 2. I think it's really good that new players come up.
네.
제 위치에서 최선을 다할 생각입니다.
그럼 확실히 저기 수장님도 고생이 많으시겠네요.
But I don't like to lose, so
자, 이제
I still gotta stay on top for a long
16강입니다.
time.
오늘은 테란이 없었지만 앞으로는 피할 수 없을 거예요. 분명히 테란전도 있을 텐데 요즘 어윤수 선수의 고민은 현재 진행형인 것 같더라고요. 최근에 끝장전도 결과가
you
조금
said you're worried about
나타냈고
playing against Terran players.
어떤가요, 고민이?
그때 끝장전 9대2로 졌는데
네.
제가 끝장나는 줄 알았어요, 제가.
So I played the GSL
오늘도
match
안 되겠다 싶었는데
where I lost 9-2.
그저께
Sorry, in a freaking match 9-2 against Terran player.
우승해가지고
Yeah, that was innovation.
얻었던 게
네.
But anyways, I gained a lot of confidence in
오늘
most of the
경기장에
online
놀러왔던
tournaments I was
이민영
playing.
선수도
and I did well on those.
수장님 방송 보면서 많이 고민을 해결하고 있다고 하더라고요.
그래요?
그런데 이제 수장님이
So
테란전을
Lena came down to watch.
그 부분은
그렇죠.
본인도 해결을 못
He
하고
says,
있다.
yeah, he watches
빨리
Sue stream.
버프가 좀 필요한 것 같아요.
아,
He's been
저그도
learning how to be a better
버프가
Zerg.
필요하네요, 지금.
저그도가 아니라 저그만 필요합니다.
Sue also says, even though Zergs are doing pretty well,
그렇군요. 이런 밸런스에
I think we
대한
need to be
이야기도
buffed.
들을 수가 있었는데요. 자, 마지막으로 그럼 이제 조지명 씨의 오랜만에 하게
Zerg.
됐습니다. 각오 들어볼게요.
you're on the group selection. Anything you have to say?
이제 팀킬이라는 걸 항상 생각해 왔는데
네.
이제는 팀킬 그런 게 없기 때문에
You got to think about team kills and group selections. But they're not really teams anymore, so I don't have to think about that.
네, 전 T1 선수들에게 계속
I
경고를
guess
해주셨는데요.
the former
다시 한번
T1 players, SK T1 players better watch out for me.
자, 이렇게 오늘 C조 최초의
Cool.
저그들
Well, that was a well-deserved win. Billowy, though, still got a chance to get out of this group.
I like that he is completely supportive of new players doing well as long as they don't beat him.
Yeah, well,
It's, this guy's a fun guy.
yeah. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, the losers match to see who will be eliminated first in tonight's GSL CODAS.
마음이 가는 대로 즐겁고 신나게 쓰자. 캠퍼스 시리즈.
그래서 오늘 두 분이 경쟁을 하는 거예요.
부산 전체를 돌아다니면서 저희가 7개의 시청자 여러분들 다 뿌리도록 하겠습니다. 4번이요.
공동대.
도쿄, 넌 내 거야, 짱! 4번.
네.
오케이! 정답입니다! 아, 예! 군도 좋아, 군도. 화물 뺏겼다. 가자.
저희 입수하러 갈게요, 저희는.
둘이서 쓸 수 있어. 귀엽지 않아요? 여러분? 오. 된다. 안녕. 붕어빵 사세요. 그거를 한번 볼까? 지금 나 혼자 신난 거니 혹시? 이거 귀엽다. 찍어도 되나? 진짜 예쁘다 근데.
댄스 도와의 결승 무대를 시작하겠습니다.
그런 의미를 담은 그 댄스 퍼포먼스
이 무대를 마음껏 즐기시는 모습을
계속 춤추셨으면 좋겠어요. 꼭.
1등은요 축하합니다 2SC
축하드립니다.
와우.
부산지도 아닙니까, 이거?
와, 7군데를 다 돌 거예요. 1번부터 7번까지 취득을 해서 시청자분들한테 나눠줄 수 있어요.
아, 자갈시장 도쿄! 고생했어요, 자갈시장. 오우! 자, 나오세요. 자, 가면서 나오시고. 2시간! 야, 이겼다! 이번에 이겼어! 그럼 한번 어서 와. 바깥으로 나가야 될 것 같은데 일단. 클래스 있다면 4번. 아 좋아요. 타이페이죠 타이페이. 광안리. 괌이다. 괌. 야 이건 크다. 부산 분들 위주로 좀 드리면 될 것 같아요 내장. 오.
그런데 스노우의 밤에는 가장 좋은 기능 중에 하나가 실시간으로 적용되는 아이템. 맞디. 스노우의 기능이 어마무시하죠 진짜로. 원반입니다. 빵 로모띠. 저한테 채팅으로 보내주시면 치킨 5마리를 뿌리겠습니다 시청자분들. 라이드 오빠 사랑해요. 아 급식이야? 와 센스.
내가 우리 사단에 초청했다고.
실시간으로 친구들이랑 가족들이랑 이제 사진 보내주고 같이 함께 꾸미면 더욱더 이쁜 스노우에.
All right, it's time for the losers match in tonight's GSL Code S. Kind of weird to say SOS could be knocked out, Artosis.
Yeah, and he definitely could as well. Like, Sue was very good in that CVC and was able to take out Curious. That doesn't mean Curious doesn't have very good CVP. I have no doubt that he does. He's a very solid player, has been for such a long time, one of our most consistent players throughout the years.
You know, the thing is as well, it would be weird if SOS was eliminated as well because he's on a team.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, there are still a few teams left.
You would think that Jin Air should outperform everyone over the course of the year.
But times have changed, you know.
Yeah.
Originally, people had team houses, and that started back in Brood War because you didn't have the ping necessary to play and train online. Now the world's so connected, you can get practice partners like Yun did. Just he was even doing it with foreigners a lot, but even without that, you know, you're connected whether it's through messengers or social networking services. You're all together, and you can train, and perhaps, you know, Curious might prove that maybe some of these teams are a little bit obsolete. Maybe you just need to have the connections and the personal skills. You train online with whoever you need to train with. Do your own homework.
There is something to that.
Be a one-man army.
Byun proved that.
Yeah.
Byun did prove that, but at the same time,
and by the way,
coaching staff, living with other players, there are definite good things about that. So, again, you would think, just generally speaking, Jin Air should have a very good year.
You'd hope so. Well, it could be the beginning of a bad one if SOS doesn't win here. And even if he does win, he's got to go up against Billowy. We already saw how that happened.
Yeah, true.
All right, map 1 is going to be Whirlwind. Our players are now in the lobby. We are moments away from getting this started. Guys, by the way, tell your friends to join us. This is the day of the week when we will have GSL Code S at a more appealing time for Europeans. On Saturdays, GSL Code S starts up at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. KST,
1
so
p.m.
that'll
KST,
be a reasonable time for America.
That's right.
And that'll
North
be Friday
America.
night for North America.
So,
and South America, too.
Yeah. No, so it's all the Americas. Americas. Anyways, guys, let's get this going. This is game number 1 of the losers match. Who will be eliminated? Will it be Curious or will it be SOS? In the upper left with a quick spawning pool in the blue, he is the Fast and the
Curious.
The Fast and the Curious.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I really like that.
Thank you.
That's brand new.
Yeah. 6 years later, we still find something original.
Yeah.
In the bottom right,
Jin Air Green Wings. SOS.
you can hear a little bit more of Artosis' voice in that one.
Yeah. That's why it's so good.
Yeah. That's exactly why.
That's exactly
You
it.
nailed it on the head there.
I'm pretty with it. That is 2 gas on 1 base, my friend, on a 4-player map.
Wow.
SOS bringing something crazy, and look at this. This is a very early spawning pool from Curious. He's trying to get SOS caught off guard, but SOS is sitting on 1 base, so, like, he's not going to be caught off guard.
Okay. We have hatchery being taken over here at the top. This is going to be cool to see what exactly SOS is going to do with this. 2 gates.
Yeah, and with 2 gases, like he's obviously going tech off of this.
By the way, I mean, it is cross spots, which makes it even more interesting. You'd assume if he was going to put on some kind of pressure, it'd be less desirable in cross spots. But oddly enough, Curious is also putting on pressure. So what happens when you have these two builds that are usually intended to punish the other player for being too greedy?
I think you have to look at this and say that SOS has the advantage, right?
I
Because
agree.
he's actually teching up. There's no gas for Curious. He's trying to snipe an expansion, right? Like maybe get into the wall, mess it all up for SOS. But SOS doesn't have that. He has tight building formation. He's making a mothership core. He's not going to take any damage here.
So the Lings are going to come up. Rut-row.
Yeah, good pull. I mean,
Gonna go
they're
for this
attacking a
pylon.
Ling, but or rather a pylon, but they're probably just trying to force an overcharge there. SOS not even going to do it, though.
Yeah, Curious does not want to overextend there and possibly lose more Lings, especially in a situation like this one. We have Warp Gate coming down now. And the Twilight, it looks like he's interested in making a pylon there in the top center to put some pressure on here. How is this going to work?
This has to be like a depth pressure into DT. That's the only thing I can think of.
Now, normally, guys, you don't see these builds because if Zerg holds it, there's no way for Protoss to win. But then again, it's so rare and unused. How much do Zergs really get to practice against something like this?
Yeah, well, there goes up a pylon. We'll see if it will be a DT-type rush, or is he going to just sit there and get glaives and just, like, consistent pressure with the adepts into glaives? Yeah, no, I guess it is just glaives. Never mind. So, I mean, this could work, especially considering the opening that Curious had, like, really gimped his economy.
Well, it's funny because, yeah, that doesn't help him at all, right?
No.
It did. The whole function of it was to hurt a Protoss who was too greedy. But SOS is doing the opposite of greedy. SOS is interested in an aggro game here. Adepts are coming up. We have 2 more gates coming down. One there, and I believe one in the main.
Well, that's going to allow him to get those very fast warp-ins. Glaives still on the way. Speed coming up here for Curious, but he's not going to want to fight this with only Zerglings. As those glaives finish, SOS should be able to hit a critical mass that just wrecks Zerglings. You know, it's kind of like, you know, we've seen it in the past when you go for like a 2-Rax Marine. Once you hit a certain number of Marines, Zerglings start to die pretty quickly. Because just the amount of damage coming out of the ball is really high.
Well, and it also the damage is depleting the Zerglings before the Zerglings are able to optimize their damage.
Yeah.
Since they have to organize and get into a position to start dealing damage, whereas the Adepts or the Marines, in your case, just sit back and fire.
Yeah. So he might need a Baneling Nest. He might need a Roach Warren, something like that. But we don't see that from him yet. He's making just an Evolution Chamber.
I don't know about this one, man.
Yeah. Glaives is about to finish.
The third base might be the last thing you need to worry about.
This Overlord, it sees nothing mining on these patches. There should be a Nexus
wait
by now,
a
right?
minute.
Oh, God, he's in a lot of trouble. Glaives is just about to finish. He'll
Oh,
cancel
my God.
that.
Good assassinate
Right, no,
on these
I guess
queens.
not.
Oh, just goes on into the main.
Yeah.
Drone's now being pulled. Trying to
Curious
take that
is-
out. The queen should be the next target if the queen can get in range.
Curious is pretty dead.
Yeah.
Like, see, this is just too many Adepts that are too fast. He's killing like, Curious is just pretty... He didn't figure out really what was going on, I guess.
I think he almost couldn't accept the idea that this was a strategy. He saw the
Yeah.
pressure coming, and suddenly Curious is like, oh, my God.
Oh, man.
What about mid-game? GG. SOS wins game 1. Short and sweet, man.
This is what happens. You can't mind game SOS, and Curious tried to. Just try to play a defensive macro game this next game, Curious, because like SOS like randomizes himself so hardcore. It's just so hard to catch him doing anything. He's the least predictable player on earth.
That was a cool strat. That's a good one to pull out, especially when you have what could be plenty more. Well, I guess we had lots of PVZs possible today here, but that was a good one to pull out because you can't use that again.
Yeah.
There's no way, at least not today. So he got that one out of the way. Curious is not really able to farm any more data on his opponent's play style. SOS is a closed book right now.
He certainly is. As you said, like that doesn't tell him anything. Does SOS prefer Oracles right now,
we
or does
don't
he
know.
prefer Phoenixes?
Yeah, exactly.
There's just nothing there.
There's nothing you can do from that except be like, well, I guess I learned more about how to play PvZ overall.
Yeah.
I shouldn't lose that again, but that doesn't help you in the best of 3 whatsoever.
Yeah. All right. Well, Curious. I mean, this poor guy. I'm feeling bad for him right now, man. He is 1 game from elimination.
Let's see if Curious can turn this around or if SOS deems him obsolete. The winner goes on to face off against Billowy in our final best of 3 in tonight's GSL Codex. In the upper right,
Curious.
And in the bottom left in the red,
Jin Air Green Wings, SOS.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and see what the openers are going to be. We got a gate here, forward gate on the low ground. Zerg not going for a quick pull here.
Yeah.
Completely shifted gears in an attempt to play a more traditional PvZ or ZVP.
Well, I think that is really the way to do it, because when you're trying to catch SOS off guard, like, he is more likely to do some weird one-base play that will destroy your aggressive opening than any other Protoss. Well, Curious actually going double hatch before pool. I like that. I think that's a good way to randomize his play, because like you said, the build that SOS did last game, the odds of him doing it here are so slim. And that's really going to be the only build, that and like Cannon Rush are the only two builds that would actually counter what Curious is doing here.
Yeah. Think about not just PvZ, but SOS in general. Is just because the game looks normal to start doesn't mean it's going to get really weird 5 minutes later.
Yeah. I wonder if SOS in this situation, he's sitting here, he's like, oh, that timing, this is a double hatch before pool. You're lucky I flipped a coin on whether I was going to Cannon Rush this game.
It's true. Some Cybernetic core on the way. I'm assuming we're just going to have a Stargate here.
I wouldn't
don't
be
know,
too surprised.
Curious does truly seem to be obsolete, though, compared to the rest of the players he's been playing against.
Well, he's a very good, very solid player. We don't really see him hit the championship quality, which, like, I mean,
he got top 4 before in our tournament, right?
Yeah,
that was cool.
That was like his big payoff after so long of having effort. And like the thing is, since then, he's just played overall better than he did in the past. Like, he kind of has like a boost in morale or confidence or something. But still, like, he's playing against SOS, who is a 2-time world champion. Sue is absolutely a championship caliber Zerg with the amount of finals he hits and stuff. Like, these guys, they just eat players like Curious for dinner, because GSL's on at nighttime, but maybe lunch now on Saturdays. But yeah, and Billowy is this guy that we're looking at. We're like, well, with these type of skills, if he somehow gets out of this group, he could Royal Road it.
Oh,
like,
for
these
sure.
These
you
are
beat
some
the guy
sick
that got
skills.
second last time, guy who's a 2-time world champion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I guess you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Oracle now on the way. The depth pressure continues on as he pokes in, shades in.
Yeah, another adept out there in the front. Speed almost halfway done here for the Zerglings. Just trying to get any harassment when he can. Nice kill there on the drone.
Yep. And he'll be able to get away there. Just trying to shave off any workers that he can with that adept pressure. Oracle's now out. Will it be one, or will he get a second? Anything like that? Ooh, nope. Going to go ahead and pull Phoenix is. He can also use that Phoenix to try to, if he wants to just get one, to try to take out Overlords on the map.
Yeah, I think that might be it, because adding these 2 gateways just kind of screams that he wants to go into an expansion and play like a more
Standard.
regular game. You know, like, get your scouting done with the Oracle, do a little bit of harassment, force the spores. It's just such a useful unit overall. And then, of course, if you have a Stargate, you may as well make a Phoenix to clear Overlords, right? It's like almost silly if you don't.
Okay, Phoenix doing some damage to this Overlord. Just slowing Curious down as much as he can, as Protoss is very steadily and very cleanly teching up. Uh-oh. That's going to surround.
Oh, yeah. That's.
I guess there's nothing here.
A little bit of sloppiness coming out right there.
Don't go out after curfew.
And surrounds these 2, but they did shade, so they'll end up living. But that's kind of a nice move there by Curious. Not getting like a whole lot done, but
gets a probe there.
Pickoffs here and there. Yeah.
This is something.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he did lose some links, but those adepts are bruised later on. Those may be more impactful in a bigger battle if they hadn't been touched at all.
Sure.
So the Overlord is picked off here. It's rapidly becoming lights out for Zerg on the map, unless he's using his lings to try to scout. He already doesn't have that many of those. The Oracle continuing to try to get some damage over here. I guess he'll know where those lings are now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the adepts are coming up, trying to put some pressure up here.
Baneling Nest and Lair on the way here.
So if he gets kills, that's great, but really he's trying to just force out more lings, and it seems like it's working. 16 lings. 16 lings might be enough. He might want to try to do something crazy with this.
Yeah, he might try to, like, bust the third base, maybe? Like, This is kind of
Does seem
interesting.
to be a bit of a gamble.
It's more Lings than I really thought we would see. Like, he
Same.
knows that there's like 5, 6 Adepts out on the map kind of pressuring him. And when you put that together with a single Oracle, that kills a lot of Zerglings. So this could just be a little bit of a safety play.
He is going to take out another Overlord. That'll be the 4th Overlord that's been picked off here by SOS's Phoenix. That's pretty big. Meanwhile, the Oracle continues to rotate around the 3 bases to try to take out any drones that are spare out here. Ling's coming in here for a surround. We don't have the Oracle over this just yet. So he does take out one Adept in trade of some Lings. Meanwhile, Zerg is getting the Roach Warren and more drones.
Yeah, more Adepts have been made throughout this time, and Glaives are about to finish. So this huge amount of Lings is going to be extremely obsolete coming up here. But some Banelings at home, as well as that Warren, should be able to help him out in defending this. Templar Archives coming up. Kind of a nod towards Banelings being out.
Okay, Adepts now coming up over here. This is a lot of pressure, you know, with the Oracle over here. If he does choose to fight the Lings with this, it's pretty bad. Now goes into the main.
Oh, man.
I just don't know if Curious has enough here.
Tons of damage actually going down.
Oh, nice.
The Banelings come
that
up.
was so good.
Oh my
God. Oh.
Dude, that is just what a sick
I wonder if we're going to get a
stasis
shot
ward.
of Curious's face during all this.
I guess not, but that stasis ward was so cool.
Yeah, that was. Look at this.
the
It actually is
roaches.
a wall. Oh, it's so bad, but so good at the same time.
Yeah. Man, Stasis Ward is just such an awesome spell.
I'm glad we're seeing this more and more in Legacy. You know, people have really figured out how to optimize this. So this is 23 drone kills.
Yeah, the game is
basically done.
He's making a void ready to make sure these roaches can't do anything else, and a ton of gates at home. Like, the damage has been dealt. Curious has no economy. All SOS has to do is macro consistently at home.
Yeah, no,
Like-
I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Like, if he makes
could-
no units, these units could kill him, but if he has units, they can't kill him.
Yeah.
And then what?
He could build a barbecue and a porch on the Nexus. I mean, he could do whatever. He could get a chandelier inside the Templar Archives. Doesn't matter what he does. He could start collecting stamps with his minerals and probably still win this game.
He'd be really cool then.
Yeah, like all stamp collectors. You know those guys are getting laid. So I mean, what do you do from here as Zerg? I do understand that this is Curious's potentially last game. I guess you fight the good fight and hope that SOS overextends, hope that SOS loses some important units, but I think the math is really not in favor of the Zerg here.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to go into Spire, see if he can get something done with that. If you can catch him completely off guard and he doesn't have defense at any of his mineral lines, a move like that, you know, that it won't completely even it up, I would say, but definitely that has potential to do a lot of damage. Thing is, there's already a Templar Archives up.
Right.
Which means he can make a bunch of Archons if he sees mutas. And then it's like, okay, so which of your units beats Archons?
Right now we have
none of them. Oh, okay.
SOS is splitting his Adepts like they're really slow Marines. And, 4 bases versus 3.
Protoss with 4.
Yeah, the Protoss with 4. Okay. Kind of sad because, SOS did a really good job, but it's like he doesn't have to finish him off now. Oh,
this is great. This is great.
That might be the mistake we were looking for.
Force
Until
fields.
it wasn't.
Yeah. That, like, if he could have sniped all of those there, that would have been amazing.
Well, now he's trapped these roaches here.
Ha, but force fields run out.
And a plot twist in this game.
Okay,
Man, those Adepts really did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
He's got the High Templars here now. Looks like he's being pretty conservative with using them.
Well, anytime you see Adepts get like 30 drone kills, that's generally just it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that almost never happens because Zergs are so used to defending against them.
Well, this is like since the dawn of Legacy of the Void. Have Adepts been used to be the thorn in the paw of the Zerg. But mass muta play.
Yeah, this is really good. Like, this will hold everything off. He's running away with the High Templars right now. And obviously, like this army, you don't just run home with it. You're going to lose the whole thing. So he may as well go forward, see what damage he can get done. But these mutas are doing very well, and I love the fact he's going right back into roaches after it.
Yeah, this was really smart. I didn't even actually see him making the mutas. We were like laughing at the situation, then mutas fly in. I'm like, oh, God.
No.
So look at that. He cleans it up. Okay, well.
Now, that was a super one-sided battle right there. And the fact that he's lost that entire army.
And he's going to lose these 2 Immortals, too. That's even worse.
Well, there's so
now,
many roaches being
now
made.
Now it's roaches being pumped. So not having these Immortals is pretty bad. And plus, if this many mutas can actually go in here and like wipe out a Nexus if he wants.
Yeah, this counter that he's going for, he's actually going for Phoenixes as the counter instead of, well, he's going Blink at the same time as well. But like, the thing is, the Phoenix production is done. Curious is already transitioning, and this is starting to look like it's going to be a Curious victory.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Like SOS was just, yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, that was a good storm.
Yeah.
Stay out.
Another storm goes down. Going to force them back for a moment. Of course, they're going to heal up pretty quick when they're out of battle.
Yeah, a chance for them to try to come dive back in. Oh my God,
like,
but Curious doesn't even know about the 4th base. He might not fully be in touch with that behind he is.
Okay, he's checking.
Oh my God.
Should have seen the edge of the cannon there at least.
Yeah.